Welcome to Nordic Magic Link. Today I have Aasha LaCount with me, and she is a businesswoman, an author, and a mentor. And I follow a lot of her teachings online, and it is always very inspiring and empowering. So welcome, Aasha.
Thank you so much, Emma, for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for listening to anybody listening, watching.
Of course, yeah. We're so happy that everyone is here listening, and I am sensing that whoever is here and finding this interesting, this is exactly the information you will need. But before we dig into your work, tell me just a little brief about your background, like, and how you got into mentoring and writing these books.
Oh, thank you. Okay, beautiful. I will. Okay, so it started probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I found out it was about, it would have been, 6 years ago. I found out I had precancerous cells on my large intestine, it's like polyps. And it was an interesting time, Emma, because I was working out a lot and I was eating a lot of farm to table foods and going to the markets. I was living in Australia at the time. And I knew that it wasn't like my health. It was something I was like, this is weird. I'm like working out and I'm eating well. Why would I have this? Why would I have something riddling me inside? And it got bad. I actually didn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't go to the bathroom for like 15 days. They were getting really concerned with my intestinal tract. And so they went and did this colonoscopy on me, and that's when they realized that I had these cancerous cells on my intestine. And so strangely, I was like part of a women's entrepreneur group, because if you're a woman watching this and you've done like MLM or like trying to figure out what you were doing, I was in that stage where I was like trying to figure out what to do. You know, I'm a woman, I want to create. And I ended up at this entrepreneurs group, and I met an energy worker, and I didn't at the time ever have energy work before. And I went to her and she said, it was a very deep session. It was like a lot of energy was flying around and we were like going there. And she said, oh my gosh, you have so much power, but you have an attachment. And I knew like what she meant, and I didn't know what she meant. I was like, oh my gosh, that means something, right? You know, here we are 6 years later still talking about it. So obviously it's stuck. Yeah. I got attached to that. And so then I, of course, stumbled into emotional intelligence, as the universe would have it. I stumble into EQ. I stumble into this amazing, crazy, like relationship with emotional intelligence. And I just started to really love it. I started to do the deeper work. I moved to Bali, and then I moved back to Australia with my husband at the time. And then it turns out that attachment was a man from 18 years earlier that had suffered a heartbreak when he and I broke up, and he never let go of me. And one day in 2020, all of a sudden he popped into my head, and I reached out to him. And this was while I'm going through my separation with my my first husband. I don't like the word ex, my first husband. And I'm going through the separation with my first husband, and I reached out to this man, right? Probably a little out of integrity at that stage, but it's a very real thing that happens to people. We look outside of our relationships. I reached out to this man and I said, hi, you just popped into my head. And he said, why did you reach out now? I literally just let you go. And wow. I said, what? And he said, I've been waiting for you for 18 years. And I said, oh my God. And so then he starts saying that he's never moved on. He had like little bits of relationships. He had a daughter, but like over the 18 years, he never let me go. And he didn't let go because he healed himself into sovereignty. He let go to attach to another woman. So he and I started this insane relationship. It's called like a twin flame connection, where it's like, and like all of it's like, oh my God, I'm leaving my husband. I'm going to get out of this relationship. I like quickly left, like signed the divorce papers with my husband, jumped off that timeline, and was like heading straight down this toxic path of like no goodness. And within 6 weeks, he completely dropped me. And so I was able to burn in the hells of fiery hells of death. And that's when I realized I was being called like aggressively for energetics and the understanding of the empath and the narcissist. And that's what I did. I decided to dedicate my life to that.
Wow. Whoa, what an intense story.
So intense. It goes much deeper in the book because it happened again and then it happened again. So I've had about 3 or 4 twin flames, if you will, helping me, pushing me up on the path of ascension to reach that source connection and that divinity within. So
Wow, wow. I can really relate. I've actually felt something similar since my divorce 2 years ago. There's been a few souls there that just such an intense meeting, and it just made me go so deep within myself and going through a lot of heartache, and that made me actually go in and find my own power much, much more deeper than I had done before.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you just said it made me go in deeper to find my own power, because there's choice point, right? There's choice point. You stay the victim and you are the hurt person, or you say, this soul has come into my life in a contract that I've created with this soul to assist me in my leveling up. There's a really beautiful saying that the unknown quote, and it says, the man asked the shaman, how will I know my ally? And the shaman says, oh, well, that's easy. He'll be the one that tries to kill you. So when you take that I get shivers just thinking about it, the relationship of that person and love that person for their villainy, therein lies the freedom within.
Yeah.
The attachment to the story.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. And I've actually thanked some of these people for breaking my heart, because it had such a huge impact on me that I felt like, well, actually, because one of them came back and really apologized, and he did that several times. And last time he did, I was like, I am actually really thankful to you, because the way you acted just made me go so deep within and find so much magic and beauty inside.
Oh my God, I absolutely love that.
Yeah,
And
he loved hearing that too,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's wonderful when we can get to this level of understanding.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love that you shared that. I can really relate to that. I had one of them that's like, I think that he goes, for a while he was kind of working it out. I get a lot of men that come into my life. I don't know if that's really loud. Is that really loud? Can you hear that?
I hear it
Can I
because it's
shut
kind
the
of
door?
coming in and out, but it's not like super loud,
Oh,
but
no.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, if it gets to be too much, I'll just quickly shut the door. I've got the door open. It's like a beautiful day and they're doing construction. Okay. So anyway, he's come back and he's kind of worked off my energy, like I was just describing before we started recording, which is he's like, you're narcissistic. And then I just say, it's okay. Like, yeah, okay. I understand where you're coming from. And then he'd come back and he'd be like, what is this? What are you doing? And like, instead of engaging with it, just holding that space. And then like maybe about a month ago, he reached out. He's like, I think that like a lot of that was me and I'm so sorry. And I said, it's okay. Like, we're here to help each other. It's the most beautiful thing when you can actually see that. And unfortunately for me in the moment, like my first husband's not in that space in the moment to see that. We estimate about 5 years, me and my guides. We're like, well, because he's on the slow, he likes the slow pace, you know what I'm saying? So all good and all power to him. But like, he's an amazing man. And he just can't see that it's a contract that we've created. You know, that takes an upper dimensional understanding of life. It's a higher truth. It hurts on earth. The higher truth is that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking you should close the door.
Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, I'm still here.
And while you're doing that, I find it very interesting, a lot of the things you share about what you call the muse and the king. So talk a little bit about that, men and women, and what's this all about? What are we here for?
Oh my God, I love that. So my whole role in this lifetime is to simplify the understanding of what we call eros gamos. So eros gamos is this inner divine union. Okay, so maybe some of your listeners now are like, yeah, of course I know what that is, but then there's maybe others that are like, I'm not really sure what this means. So there's this saying from the Bible, right? I'm not religious, but I am certainly in a belief system for me that there is a king and a god and a goddess, or a king and a queen, interdimensionally, right? And so whether you believe that to be a big fat masculine pillar and a big fat feminine pillar, or a purple elephant and a blue elephant, it doesn't matter what your belief system is, but there's a higher power of some sort that's energy. And when we bring that down to earth, and what you can do to really like heal yourself, when we talk about this muse and this king, is that if you are a feminine person, it doesn't matter your sexual preference, if you are a feminine in this lifetime, you have an inner king. And if you are a masculine in this lifetime, you have an inner muse. So like I said, in the Bible, they say the kingdom is within. And so this is it. And so in my belief system, there is God, a god or king, the lover, like a king that loves me and has always loved me. Then there's the king, and then there's the king, the father. Or you can say God the lover, God the king, and God the father. And so there's for me, those three characters, and I live inside myself. And I am myself at this age, right? And then I'm also a little girl being taken care of by her father. And then I'm also an older woman who is a queen married to the king. So when I close my eyes and I meditate, and any man and women can do this, it's awesome. If you're a man, you just picture like 3 different versions of this woman, like a mother, and then a queen that you're married to, and then really one that's like a lover that you love and have intimacy with. And she is providing the experience for you externally. So every woman that may have broken your heart, if you're a man and you've had your heart broken, she's given that to you as a gift. It's like a gift that she brought for you to heal yourself. And then the same for women. If you have had your heart broken by a man, you just look at it as a gift that the father brought for you, or the gift that the king brought for you, and to help you, to move you forward. So when I say these things, this king and this muse, it's like every feminine being on the planet is a muse. And then every man is a king. Every single man is a king. Every single person has access to be literally unstoppable. And it just brings me so much joy to be able to really simplify that. Like, it's that simple. Like, if you're looking out there for her love, or if you're looking out there for his love, stop for a moment and find the king or the queen within you. And that's how you can heal yourself faster.
So it's a little bit, so when you're meditating with these, is it like you have different archetypes inside of you and you're reconnecting with them by visualizing that they have this beautiful relationship inside, or how does it work?
That is exactly right. So can I give you an example from this morning? So I call it like devotional practice, or like self-pleasure. I do a lot of it with self-pleasure. So like, I'm single in the moment, right? So I self-pleasure with this king inside of me, and like visualize him literally like penetrating me, the king version of him inside of me, penetrating me like in my heart space with like his white light, and physically penetrating me through the vaginal canal, like into my womb space. That is the center of feminine creation. I'm also working through really deep stuff with the father right now, like really deep. And a man has come into my life, and he's much older, and he is bringing out a lot of like the king worshiping things that are going on. So I'm working through the father wound even deeper now. Like, it's really, really deep. And so when I closed my eyes this morning, it was me as a little girl sitting with the father inside, because maybe there were parts of my birth father that couldn't meet me there. So I have to go to a higher father. And so when I sit there, I like visualize me sitting on the lap of my father, sitting by a lake. And he's like, it's okay. I'm providing you everything that you need. You can relax and trust, relax and trust. And the more that we do this, as women especially, relaxing and trusting, the better life is just going to be. You become way more magnetic because you've got it all within you.
Beautiful. So it's okay. So just visualization is like the key to this So the more you do it, the more you feel like it's being integrated within you, and then you go into the world, and then the world tests you a little bit and see like how much have you integrated now. That how it works out.
150%, like 150%. Like it's magic. It truly is. This is called like devotional practice. So I do this probably 2 to 3 hours a day, some form of this. And a lot of, as a woman, I do a lot of cervical self-pleasuring, and I probably self-pleasure 2 to 3 times a day. And for me, and what I've found, it is escalates your ascension, which means that you're moving into the highest timeline the fastest and you possibly can. And you see things before the rupture begins happening. So you start to really trust your inner compass more and more and more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The last episode I had Dawn Wild on, who I think you also know, and yeah, she talked a lot about pleasure as well and pleasure practice. And I really took that on after talking to her, and I can really sense that it has helped me so much in what I was going through. But this is a whole nother level. This is very interesting. And so when you work with clients, this is how you coach them or mentor them.
Yeah, well, it really depends on the client. So I have multiple programs. Some people will be like listening to this and be like, what the hell is this lady on? The truth is that makes a lot of sense. You know, I mean, there's a lot of hurt out there. What my initial course is called Self-Worth Warriors. It's for people who have gone through narcissistic abuse, or coaches that like want to step in but can't figure out anything yet. It's only, you know, it's a $2,000 course, and it's a little more than $2,000, and it's 8 full weeks with me. And we do it in group. It's the most powerful program, but it's the start, because you have to start with your worth. And then from there, you kind of move into the feminine and masculine embodiment, and then you move into this deeper devotional work. So it depends on what frequency the client is coming in on. I will always have courses for everybody based off of their level, not based off of mine. And so in the moment, I've got a couple courses, like it's for a woman who's like really ready to get like start receiving big money, like millions and millions of dollars. And I'm moving through that. I'm initiating through that. And that program's called Feel. And then I have another program where I train women in this devotional practice to worship men. We are experiencing a bit of a disconnect between men and women right now. And women are flying. We're like all these divine feminines just like rocking around the planet. Like, and there's not that many men that understand how to even begin. And I've realized that to get men to do that, I can go in through my own sexual seduction. And then when they come into the container with me, it becomes a sacred container to which they begin accessing their power. Accessing their power means moving through their shadow. But I've found in my understanding that as a lot of men, even now, a lot of men can't even do that. They can't even come in. They're like, they can see that I'm going to give them more power. And that's a very scary thing for somebody who has a lot of shadow. So we go slow. It really depends on the pace of the client.
Okay, and this is to activate the king within them, or the muse within them, right, or both?
Yeah, so I'm their earth muse. And when you seed a muse with money, she will automatically duplicate that money over and over and over again. So some of my clients have like insane results. Like one man just got a $30 million deal. Another guy is now extending his business $155 billion in logistics. Like we're talking humongous results. And what I'm realizing is that a lot of them enjoy the sexual energy that I bring. So I'm creating a conscious sort of porno site of me in that energy, so that when men look at it, so let me explain this a little bit here. So when a man or a woman plugs into pornography, they're plugging into something outside of themselves and getting a hit. If they do that when a woman is in devotion, I'm in full devotion to my mission. I'm celibate. I've been celibate for years. When a man does that to a woman who's in devotion, there's nowhere for him to plug into. He instead ricochets his own sexual power back, instead of plugging into me, it ricochets back and hits him back in the face, and then he gets the power. And that means moving through the shadow, but he will feel like surges and surges of power.
How did you come to realize that this is what's happening energetically?
In intuition, and also my path, the way that I do so much work, Emma, like it's insane. And also I've been given recently a very, very powerful man to really bring this out in me. Like he's super, super powerful in the sense that he has, 5,000, 6,000 employees, billions of dollars. He holds a lot of power, but he needs a muse to get him through the next level. And I need him to bring that next level out. And that next level is sexual seductress healing from a devotional place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is taking place online, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, for now. Yeah. But I will do anything for my mission. Let's assume this man enters this contract with me and we go, it's a big, huge contract. It's a big investment for him, but it is a lot of energy for me. There is going to be a huge amount of work that I'm going to need to do, but I will do it because when I do it, I'm going to treat him like any other client, right? Clients come to me all the time. They need help. His just happens to be through a different way of helping, right? And so when the goal is always that he heals, and the fact that he's at the top of the food chain of a business that has 5,000 employees, if he takes this path with me and we clear his tyranny, it's going to ripple down to everybody that works for him.
Right.
And that is power right there.
Yeah.
It's benevolence. And I can see his benevolence in there. I can see it. And I'm like, man, you've got a awesome soul. Like it's beautiful. But people can really relate to this. We look at, like, we may end up in a relationship with someone where we're like, but if you just did this, and I can see this in you, and then we still take the ride. Like, so, but for me, the ride is my job. I'm going to help that person, whether he chooses that or not is up to him. It's his sole choice. We're just talking about a much bigger scale, and we're talking about sexual energy, which is, could be looked at as sex work, but it's not. It's energetics, and it has to be done if I'm going to do this. If I'm going to do this work and say this is what I want in my life, which it is. I want light workers ruling this world, and there's a lot of people. There's actually 2,610 billionaires that may not even know what the hell this is that we're talking about.
Wow. How are you
powerful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm always banging on about money. I'm like, stop hating money. You have to like money, because if you don't love money, and this is resonating, if you don't love money and you're a light worker, you have to get rid of that story, because we need the money in order. People are like, oh, but we don't need money in the new world. And I'm like, we're not in the new world yet. We are still dealing with power struggles. So like, you have to get rid of that story, because if you have that story, you won't attract the money, and you need the money in order to make vast change. And so I'm very, very aware of that. And I'm like, no, I don't buy any of that stuff. I need the money in order to reach as many as I possibly can. And I'm happy with that.
Wow. Yeah. And how are you going about, so you sense that this is what was needed, and from the outside, people can look at it and be like, oh, it's like, what's she doing now? Is she doing like a porno site for people? How are you dealing with this kind of mentality if people are not understanding that you're actually doing something energetically that your intuition has told you to?
Oh yeah, I don't care what people think. It's pretty simple. It's very simple. It's not for everybody to understand. But when you are in this business, and when you're in the business of energetics, you see things earlier than other people. Yeah. So I'm always thinking of the long game. Maybe right now there will be a lot of discord or friction or judgment that will have to come forward for those people, or and for me to potentially have to deal with, right? Like, let's say I go on to some place and they start shouting at me and, making fun of me or whatever. And maybe if something comes up, that thing that's coming up is for me. It's for me to come up. And so I don't look at it as judgment per se. I look at it as if I'm feeling hurt by that, what inside of me doesn't love myself. So, but I also, again, look at the 10 to 20 year plan here. If we're building this right now, in 10 to 20 years, I'm going to have thousands of women underneath this umbrella. This is the desire, is to have thousands of women under this umbrella, creating this sexual energy devotional work for men to wake up. Because if we don't get people in divine union, we're not going to have any West. We're going to be completely taken over. And it is working right now. There are major separation inversions happening all over the place. Everybody's calling everybody a narcissist. Everybody's afraid to date because they're not healed enough. It's like insanity. And really the truth is that a woman can create her entire existence. She has that much power. And that's one of the ways that I know that we can do that. Get men to really start waking up.
What kind of space do you have to be in when you're doing this kind of work? Like, what are you thinking? Where are you sending your energy?
Oh, that's a great question. So if we're talking about the sacred sexual work, it's in devotion. It's really in devotion to the king, my inner king. And I get shivers just thinking about it. Like, there is a lot of fear that came up for me with this. It feels like I'm going to be controlled, but I won't be controlled. It's just a fear that's coming up, right? The magnitude of, I don't believe that God would give me anything that would hurt me. And if he did, it's my own soul's choice. It's my own soul's choice for that. And so, and I've had that happen. I've been assaulted sexually twice in the last year and a half. And I know, it's crazy. And I still hold that mentality. I still do. People find it crazy, but I actually believe that I needed those things. And so when I'm in this space, I have a lot of fun. Like, I love life. I just truly love it. And so I try to just reach in and access as much joy as I can. So I'll dance and I'll get sexy and get into the mood. And then from there, it's almost like, in a way, meeting my client where my client needs to be met is the same, no matter if the client is one of my teenagers who's a transgender. I meet them where they need to be met, versus a man who desires to have healing through sacred sexual energy. So I'm just meeting my client in that place. So I have to be the best version of what that client needs. And it's really similar. I spent a lot of time in hospitality. So it's oh, okay. So even though the special is lamb and we're having a competition who can sell the most lamb, if someone comes in and tells me they don't like game meat or they don't like gamey meat, I'm not selling them the lamb. I'm giving them the salmon. It's that simple. And so it's sort of the same thing. It's how can I be of service at the highest degree? And so for every different container that I'm entering, no matter if you and I were having a session, Emma, I set the space into a sacred temple, and then you and I meet. And I usually feel into the energy of my client before we start the session. Yeah. And with him, it's with these contracts, these bigger contracts with these men that are quite maybe have little bits of tyranny and a little bit of malevolence. And I really am okay with that, because I had that. I had tyranny. I was narcissistic in my first relationship. I'm a leader. I have to move through tyranny. I've moved through so much of it because I have to. I'm saying that I want to heal that. And so he has those little things, and I can see them. With these bigger contracts, there's a lot of power. And there's a lot at stake, but it doesn't scare me, because I want that for the human race. If he has 5,000 employees and he's the first one that I'm healing and working with, that means that this could be endless. And so I'm ready and prepared to do that. I'll do anything for my mission.
How are you preparing yourself before you see a client? Do you have any rituals, or you do, or?
I do. Yeah. So I love you. You're so sweet. I love these questions. So I have, I'm as you know, I'm trained in I'm a shamanic practitioner for the Moon Eye Key, and which is sort of it's the Peruvian lineage. And so I'll do energetic clearing of the space with a certain ritual that I use with my rattle. I also have tons of sage and incense and Palo Santo. And so I do lots of light language, and I speak light language like a lot, like a lot. It's like constant. And then I also do 12D shielding. And then I also have an amazing house cleaning ritual that I do. And I do that about once every like 2 weeks to really clear the space. And so it's amazing. I feel when you begin this work over time, you like energetic cleanliness, it is so huge. And then that means that your physical cleanliness has to be at a certain level. At least I believe that to be true. It really, like, I really try to keep my house really, really tidy and keep everything as clean as possible. I have a very little amount of clothes, a little amount of stuff. I like to just make sure that everything's really clean and tidy. And the shielding is really important. It's about what's mine, what's the collective's, what's this particular client's, and keeping that sovereignty. And then I have like 3 energy healers as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
what's this? You said it was like a 12 shielding or something. What's that?
Yes. So we have multiple dimensions that we live in all the time. And which is why it's really cool when you do this inner king or inner muse work. They're up in the 13th, the Sophia muse, she's up in the 13th dimension, overlooking everything. She's like the mother, matriarch. And then we have the 12th dimension, which is where the god is, right? So this is where the king lives. So if you're a man, you're going all the way up to the 13th dimension when you get your muse, and if you're in your muse or your goddess. And then if you're a woman, you're in the 12th dimension with like the king and in the god energy, the masculine energy. So I pull energy from the 12th dimension, white light from the 12th dimension, and I wrap it around myself like 360 degrees, about 15 feet outward. And it's called a 12th dimensional shield, like almost like an egg. The cool thing is, if you are interested in checking that out, you can look that up in the Ascension glossary, which is online. It's like Wikipedia for star seeds and for people who are into this work. And it's a really great way to start opening up your consciousness, because we're living in multiple dimensions all the time. So the sooner you understand that and how powerful it is to have access to those higher dimensions, the easier your life is going to be on earth. And all of it's emotion. That's the cool thing. It's like, this is a lot. No, it's not. It's literally a relationship with your emotions. Like if you feel fear, just know there's somebody up there like really looking out for you, and like just wants you to feel the fear, feel it, get through it. Boom. He's going to be like, here's a gift, like down from the 12th dimension, like, hey girl, great job. You felt that fear. Bling, here's a gift. And then the gift is like an aha moment. And you're like, oh, right. Holy shit. I feel fear because I was afraid of the relationship with my dad or whatever, you know? And so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And light language, how did that come to you?
Oh my gosh. I've been speaking it since I was a little girl. And I stopped for when the man held on to my soul. So when we were 18 years old, 19 years old, and he held on to my soul, he sucked the life out of me. That is why, like, if you're listening to this and you still have an attachment to someone else, it's affecting them just as much as it affects you. Like, you have to learn to let it go. Through technique, and my programs offer all of that stuff, but it's my main area is detachment. And when he did that, I became really dark and like lost all of my light. And so it just started to kind of come back in 2020 when I got woken up. I was like, like channeling so much. And just my son has it as well. Like we kind of like talk to ourselves and like channel and like walk around talking to ourselves. And so the light language now is so powerful. I'm like actually listening to different like lineages come through, like really heavy, like tribal languages as well. So it's like sort of spritey and fruitful and like cute, like little boppy stuff. And then there's also like, like I'm literally about to come over there and like take down your whole village. It's crazy. So yeah, so I'm just exploring a lot of different types of language and light that is really masculine and deep and heavy, or feminine and light and heart opening and really fruitful. So those are like all different types of things that I speak. Yeah.
And this just comes to you throughout the day or when you're meditating or?
Yep. Self-pleasure, meditation throughout the day. If I'm feeling like I'm in my head a lot, I will speak light language. It is like, even if you're listening to this and you're wanting to do it, the cool thing about light language is that it's just a frequency. So babies do it. They speak it and we think it's baby babble, but they're so connected to the source. They haven't really let all of the program set in yet. And it's just a language of light. And I've had visions of me like in my 50s and 60s, and I'm sitting in the room talking to a friend, and he and I couldn't even understand what he was saying. Like, it's such a high frequency of consciousness, and I believe we're going to continue to see that in this lifetime. Like, the consciousness is going to get so high. Like, people will sometimes listen and be like, I understand what she's saying, but what is she saying? And that's why I also love my role, is because I'm like, okay, let's try to drop this down like it's hot. Like, let's get this down to 3D so people actually understand what I'm saying. But there's still parts of it where people are like, I don't really know what you mean, but I understand it. And I'm like, yes, it's frequency.
Can you give just a short example of light language?
Sure. Okay, ready?
Wow. Thank you.
How are you feeling? It was only a little.
I feel good.
Nice. Oh,
It's beautiful.
My heart like right open. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's interesting how when you hear people speak light language that that somehow you can hear that it is the same language.
I know, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Like all stemmed in, like it's just the power of unity consciousness and understanding that we really do understand one another. And like there's no loss in translation. It's just like the most beautiful thing. So yeah, it feels really good. Yeah. And anybody can do it. You can just, I have a course where I make my clients do it, and they're like, oh, and like every single one of them are just so powerful. Like, I've only had a few that have like really stepped into that, but they have that accessibility. Everybody does. Everybody has it. I'm no better than anybody else. It's just that our soul chooses different choices. And then you go, okay, come on. All right. I got it. Like, come on, guys, let's go. You can do this. It's fun.
How are you teaching them to do it? Is there some kind of a sound you have to tune into, or?
No. So the first thing to do with light language is really understand that you have the accessibility, and then giving yourself permission. It's just like going live on Instagram. Like at first it's going to feel really scary, and then all of a sudden you're doing it like every second of the day because you've done it every day for the last 365 days. And so you lose the fear. Yeah. So it's so much of this is the frequency of confidence and knowing that you have a voice. So what I'll do when I teach my clients to do it is I'll simply have a private conversation with them and say, you step in, I want you to open your heart space. I want you to literally visualize a golden or a white tube coming straight from the source all the way down into your heart space. And I want you to create a light language transmission for me on the mother wound. And then I'll say, I want you to create a light language transition for me on rejection. And then they have that information. And then from there, they channel in. And sometimes I'll say, look up the rejection wound, look up the mother wound, watch a video on it, get yourself really acclimated with the vibe of the wound. Where is it shown up for you? And then from that place, speak into a healing for the collective. And so they're always really, really powerful. Like, it's just amazing. Like, it's the most amazing thing. And the cool thing is you can be anywhere in your ascension path and anywhere in your growth. You're always ready to teach it. Everything. Like, you're always ready to teach. You don't have to wait. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also realized that this
Yeah.
last year, like it was like all of a sudden I just realized everything that I just learned and integrated, I'm teaching. It's like I just got it, and now it's like the perfect time to share it because now it's alive within me. Instead of if you're waiting another week or months, then it's like stale information, it's like that's the time to share it.
Yeah, I love that so much, Emma, because like even when I teach some of my courses, and I know you have courses as well, right? Where you're teaching people in regards to even shamanic practitioner work.
It's a Norse magic, so it's related to Nordic shamanism. It's a course
Yeah.
I've just launched. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and when I teach my course, like it's called the method, and I teach the shamanic illumination session, and then I teach quantum healing, which is my method, and then I also teach emotional intelligence. Every time I teach it, I'm like, I love this. Like you can teach it over and over and over again, and it's just the most beautiful thing. And so for me, I've created about 14 courses in the last 2.5 years. It's insane. Each time I've created a course, I have to initiate through what it is that I'm saying that I'm teaching, which is why I've been moving so quickly. Is like I'm literally like creating all these programs to like keep initiating into like a higher version of myself. It's been amazing. And now I'm at that place where I'm bringing in like this deeper power with the sexual energetics. And that's a really, really, it's going to get dark. I know it. I can feel it. I'm going to go through hell. I know that, but I'm willing to do that. It's just another level of initiation. And I'm here for it. Yeah, I've been here for the last 2.5 years. May as well go another round. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. I'm turning my Facebook group into a reality TV show because I'm like, oh my god, we need to get some popcorn out. This is nuts. So yeah. And I think
You're brave. I love it. We need more brave people in the world.
Hell yeah. The shaman is the bravest. We are not afraid of the dark. It's like,
No.
if the fear comes up, my suggestion is always go to it. Stay in it, go deeper, get in there. What is that? Ask for it to come up. You don't need to be afraid of your emotions. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. I love that. When you said you also work, one of your courses is about detachment.
Yes.
So how should a person go about that? Because I think this is a lot of people have issues in this area.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, even, me in a way, like I said, even this most recent initiation with this man, that's like a father wound coming up. I want to serve him. Like it's like almost like a desire that I've had to sit with that desire and be like, what is this? Like, this is more attachment for like, in a way, performing to meet my father's needs. Okay. This is like heavy. This is why a lot of sex workers get into sex work, is because they're doing it to get the recognition that they didn't have when they were a child. And I had that when I was a little girl. My father's a really good man, but he worked like 80 hours a week, and I am a lot of energy. So I would bounce on him and be so excited to see him, and he'd be tired, and he would be like, Aasha, get off. Like, I'm not now, not now, not now. Stop it. Slow down. And all my life I've heard, slow down, stop. And so it's actually caused me a lot of confusion about who I am and who I need to be in order to be accepted. And so this is an attachment to a story that I need to be a certain way in order to get loved by a man. And so this attachment, that's just one example of attachment. There are so many. There are so many examples. Rejection, when we are rejected, or when we're like seeking external validation, like it starts off as this attachment, and then it may be your soul's desire. So for example, my soul's desire is to be a performer. It is to be on stage. It is to be famous. These are soul's desires. They're not bad, but they start off as an attachment to me being seen. And so when you think about attachment, the first thing you need to ask yourself is like, what are the stories that you're creating around what you might need out of the person that you find yourself attached to? So if it's a man and you're a woman and you're like, or like a partner, whatever, let's just go partner. And you're like, I want them to see me, or they shouldn't have hurt me, or I can't stand it when they ignore me. All of that can be flipped back into your inner king or queen. So if we're out there looking for a man or a woman, we are cheating on our own inner king or queen in a way. That you can look at it like that.
Yeah.
And that shows up in our business. It shows up in like I was like doing that with a man that was not available, and I was ignoring my business. I was like ignoring my business. My business like completely tanked in December, like completely. I had $4 in my bank account. Like it was awful. And on the outside, I looked like this, powerful woman, but like I was initiating and I was like, holy shit, I'm cheating on my mission with a man that's not available right now.
Yeah.
So the attachment can start there. You can actually say, oh my gosh, every time I'm out there looking for another person, I'm cheating on the man inside of myself or the woman inside of myself.
Wow. I love that idea.
Me too, actually. I'm like, oh my God, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm glad that came out.
And so then the key is to then go within and give your inner king attention.
That's it. And look, you can do this on your own. There's my program, Self-Worth Warriors. It is for men and women. It is amazing. I take people out of like twin flame hell, or out of like a narcissistic hell, or even just like not being clear on who they are. Like in 8 weeks, we get through it. And so, and also one-on-one sessions of like deep energetics, like deep energetic work is truly like, it will save so much time. It saves so much time, so much time. Yeah, it's amazing.
So all of your courses, are they all in a group setting where you are online with them, or how does it work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So they're all online and they're all in group settings. I've got 3 courses that I'm running right now, which are Feel for women, feminine women that want like millions of dollars and like getting to their next level, because you have to initiate into that. In order to be able to receive millions of dollars in your business, you have to go through initiation. You have to be able to energetically hold that as a woman. And I'm noticing a lot of women are not there yet in the moment. And so I created this course, including myself. I'm moving through the initiation to receive very, very, very deeply, like very deeply. And then I have another course for the Gentleman's Companion, which is for Muse Priestess, women who want to heal men through their sexual power. It's non-penetrative. It's not sex work. It's devotional practice. So the women need to be on the path of devotion, whether in a relationship or on knowing that is it is a mandatory thing if they desire to take that course. And then Self-Worth Warriors, which is my other program. And that's for people who are ready to really start going on their ascension, and they're ready to start. I've had people take that course like twice. It's so good. Yeah, it's awesome. It's the funnest course ever because we have a blast. I'm like, I love all this stuff and it gets really serious. Of course, emotions are amazing like that, but I like to have fun. I love having fun and like getting a group of people together to be like, let's heal and let's deal with our shit and let's have a good time doing it, And sure, we're going to cry. We're going to wish our life was over. That's going to happen, but we're also going to help each other. And that's what's the best part. Like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to worship this man and like probably do some weird BDSM shit? And then I'm like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just doing it. So yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
Life
wow.
is some people are just really good at pretending that they have nothing wrong with them. I admire those people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But that's like that's the old world.
That's the old world. Absolutely.
We can't do that anymore.
Absolutely not. There's no way it will last. Like
if you're standing, if you step forward and you speak, and you're not actually sharing what's going on authentically for you, then you have nothing really to give. And then people won't join you.
100%.
So,
and that is why I find this portion of what I'm doing in business so powerful, because I keep saying business will not last if you are not a leader who is facing their shit. If you're not facing your shit and you're in business, you are literally shooting yourself in the foot. People will stop buying from you. And I may not say it might not happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen in this lifetime. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, you have to be authentic, and it is a frequency and people can feel it. So you know how this shows up, Emma? It's the person that is like, yes, oh my God, amazing, leading life, amazing, right? And then behind closed doors, they're treating their wife like shit, or they haven't had sex in 6 months, or
Yeah.
they are just plugged into the internet, but they show up at work like everything's normal. People can feel that. That is called uneven energetics. It's like uneven buckets of energy. And that's why I'm like done with that. I'm done with that. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I've gone through hell and back in my business, and I want people to know what this is like right now in the moment. Like, not, I don't care. Buy from me or don't is what I'm saying, but people love that. They love it because they're like, right, that's real. I'm not alone. And I'm like, no, you're not alone. And I don't know why everybody acts like you are.
Yeah.
The man that acts like he have never had a problem. Every single time I meet with a powerful man, their life is their love life is in shambles. They can't invest in themselves to do the work. They are overweight. Like, these are real problems, and like everybody's dealing with it on every different level. And it's just a matter of who's really good at hiding it. And it's a veil. It's like another veil. And yeah, I'm kind of done with it. So I'm just going to keep being really, really honest about it, about who I am and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Come right or don't.
I love that. Can I ask what your initiation looks like when you're doing these courses?
Yeah, so usually it's me. Well, I have to embody what it is that I'm teaching, right?
Yeah.
So there's for the feel, the woman is exhausted, depleted, and she's probably in a really great job, either making good money and could be making more, or she's a coach and she's like, nothing's working. She's trying all these different things, yet people aren't buying. And so that I've had to go through that. The last couple of months have been hell. Like, I was 80 grand in debt. It's finally starting to flip the opposite way. But like this, I have to go through it. And it's funny because people will go, oh my God, that's not successful. No, you don't know about energetic initiation. Money is not any indicator of a person.
Yeah.
All it is there as an energy. So when the energy is being pulled and pushed away from me, it's because I'm in another initiation. People can't do that. Their nervous systems like completely fail. They're like, so you have to kind of say, okay, nope, let's get solid. Let's figure out what we need to do that I've been doing. How do we do this differently? And pick that and then grow from that space. And once you do that, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the safety starts to come for you in different ways.
So the initiation is the problems you're going through in itself.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, because I think I've been in an initiation for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to tell me? I want to hear. What do you mean?
Well, oh my God, that's a long story. But I mean, since my divorce, so I called in, I basically said, like, what's for the highest purpose? I want to step into my highest purpose now. And then my husband came and said, I don't want a divorce, but I think we need to. We were great friends, and we still are, but it was like, he just knew, like, okay, we need to,
wow,
there's something else we need to do. And then I joined a training because I felt like it was a place I felt at home, and there was a lot of activities happening there. And then it turned out to be quite cult-like, and I was emotionally abused by the teacher. I've been dealing with not having any money and money problems last 2 years, and then when they kicked me out of the cult because I asked too many questions, and they said there are too many erotic forces in me that they couldn't handle.
Yes.
And then I went home to.
You told me that, actually, the erotic. I think you told me that, the erotic forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have. And so then I went back to Scandinavia because I was living in the US for 15 years. Kind of went home to my mom and felt, I needed a little emotional support here. And then I had my heart broken a couple of times, and then I moved to Sweden for 3.5 months, and I went into deep meditation in the forest by myself, and at nighttime, using these practices that are in my ancestral line, you know, Nordic shamanism and song healing, and yeah, deep shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, babes, I'm so sorry. I know. I can totally relate. Like it's hardcore. It is hardcore. And you know, the feminine's really getting it in this part of their lifetime because men and women are so disconnected, right? So masculine provision and money is a masculine energy. So it's like women who are really on the depths of this path that are really going for feminine remembrance are dealing with huge upsets in their financials. And it's because you're being like deeply called into your feminine essence, like even deeper. And that is a huge place to be. Like there are women that are like really winning on Facebook and like, yeah, like making all this money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like in the next 5 years, they're going to get it because like, there's a series of women right now that are really ripping through this, like these initiations. It's not easy. It is not easy work. It's like wicked, a huge amount of trust. And I promise you though, like it's going to turn around there. Like I said, you have to like unlock the millionaire template. And then also when you unlock that millionaire or billionaire template, you then can start creating just little bits of things that are going to attract the right person. So I have like 3 billionaires in my life right now that all want to like work with me because I've done so many course creations and they're all in tech. So there's like something there that like I had to unlock in order for them to be like attracted to me energetically. And it's only short. You only have to go through that initiation like once and then you're done. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
So it's think about like what you want in your life and then what you need to do for a short period of time to get that thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I have every intention of not running my company. I don't want to. I want a corporate CEO running my company so that me and my divine union partner can run around the realm healing people.
Yes.
And the business is rolling in the background. That is what I'm calling in. That means I have to embody a certain level of CEO that is going to get me that. It's interesting. Yeah. So it depends. Get crystal clear on what you want for yourself. And then ask God, say, what do I need to do to get this? Like, who do I need to be to receive this? So many women, right, may want this strong masculine king or this man in their life, but they're not willing to you have to erect the king within you. The cool thing is that once you declare that you're going to do that, you only have to do it once and then it's done. And then you're like, oh my God, I've done it. Now I've graduated to the next step. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah,
so do you when you say erect, do you have to actually envision an erect inside penis?
Go for it. No rules. Do your thing, girl. I'm all about the penis. I'm all about the king cock. I'm like, penetrate me with your money and your cock. Yay! It's fun.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fun.
Well, thank you, Aasha. I mean, I could keep talking to you because this is all so interesting and such a unique, the work that you do, it's so unique. And yeah, it feels like you're light years ahead of the current world. You're bringing it in.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God, you're awesome. I just love being around you. You're such a sweet woman. And I'm like so thrilled till when we get to connect more. I mean, I'd love to have a party soon in Los Angeles. You get to come and show us your magic in real life.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
I'd like to do that in September.
Okay, yeah, let me know.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. That was so much fun. And I'll give your audience a couple of freebies and the link to the book.
Yeah, tell them where to find you.
Yes, my Instagram is at Aasha_T_international. I can be found if you like the business vibes on LinkedIn, Aasha T LaCount. And I am also on Facebook as Aasha T. And I have a really cool Facebook group that I'm just turning into a reality TV show, and that is called The Method with Aasha T. And I'm going to be talking about real-time initiations and like helping people really, really see what it's like to go through this. So that will start kicking off in the next week or two. And actually, I'm having a party in the method by Aasha T. The method with Aasha T. No, the method by Aasha T. I don't know. Anyway, DM me. And I'm going to be having a party next week, which is like, I don't know if this will be aired in time, but it's the week of like the 1st of June. So yeah, you can always catch the replay. It'll be in the group.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Oh, gosh, my absolute pleasure. That was awesome, Emma. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all the listeners.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.